Hey, I'm Matt. This is Let's Talk Music. I am here with Madeleine and Rikard of, sorry guys, Eleine. How are
Yeah,
we doing today?
we're doing good.
Doing great.
Yeah, we've had a long day already, preparing actually for music video recordings tomorrow. So
Mm.
will be the last music video coming up for this album cycle. So we're excited.
Oh yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So, we were just speaking before about, you guys being in the States. It was your first ever North American tour.
Correct.
And how did that go? How'd you like it?
We loved it.
Oh yeah. Super great.
Yeah, it was. You never know what really to expect. It's a completely new continent, but holy shit, the crowd were wild. I mean, you guys in North America, you have a spark in your eyes. I love it. Yeah, it was very interesting in very many ways, but we truly loved the fans of North America. So we really want to come back.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's we love our music, that's for sure.
You do.
Oh, you could tell.
Yeah.
Definitely. It was very heartfelt and very nice, happy crowds.
Dedicated.
Very
Absolutely.
dedicated.
Yeah,
So
very.
many had actually waited years to see us. So we were special guests to the Portuguese metal band Moonspell.
Right.
And it was so great to be over in North America for the very first time. As I said, many had waited years to see us, but some had also just waited like a week,
Yeah.
a few months. Some even like they're at the spot, saw us for the very first time and heard of us for the very first time, then came over to the meet and greet and was like, dude, that was freaking awesome. It was so great to meet so many happy people that really loved music. I can't stress that enough. That was super.
Yeah, it was beautiful.
Yeah, it's I mean, it gets around, and that's what's great about it is like, honestly, the first time I ever heard of you was when Liz sent me the press release, and I was like, oh my God, I absolutely love it. And
Thank you.
I wanted to come out to Pittsburgh, but like I said, I had some complications there with my scheduling. And I mean, it was I think the first one that I listened to was Enemies.
Yeah.
And
Alright.
I was like, okay, I dig this. And then, she also sent Ava of Death and All Shall Burn, which is the name of the album, correct?
No, that was an EP.
Yes.
All Shall Burn. And
Then it was included on Dancing in Hell, our
Correct.
third full-length album. So
Okay.
yeah.
and
Yeah.
the upcoming album is We Shall Remain.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, it's with these we're going in this blind because
Yeah. Because of lost information. It's totally fine.
Oh, this
Yeah.
is great.
Tell me a little bit about yourselves. I mean, when did you guys form?
2014.
Okay.
Yes. Let's start with Ricker and I. I mean, we've been knowing about each other ever since forever, it feels like, because we
Yeah.
grew up in the same village. But then we met as more adults, I guess, and we understood that both of us wanted to have a metal band. So it wasn't more complicated than that, but we decided very early on to give our very best and our all, actually. We kind of agreed upon, if we're going to do this, we're going to do it to 110%, so we have really dedicated our lives since then to Eleine. We have.
And it seems to be paying off. I mean, a lot of the bands that I talk to from, over in Europe, they always talk about how they want to make it over to the United States, but the don't have the backing or whatever. And I mean, here you guys were doing a spring tour, and I mean, what it looks like about maybe 20 dates, something like that. I mean, so
It was 23 gigs over 25 days.
Yeah, it was intense.
It was really
but
intense.
We're very happy that we got the opportunity. We started to work with a booking agent after many years of searching for someone to work with, because it takes a lot to get over to the States. It does, and like financially, it is actually a nightmare. It is,
Sure.
the visas and everything, the entire process is, well, I'm very happy that we've done it now once, so it's not as surprising, the next time. So now we know, and we're very grateful that we got this chance to do it, because we have been working hard for it, and it was very beautiful to see that, as we did expect, or not expect, we did suspect that we did have a fan base in the US and Canada. And getting there, we got that confirmed. It was very beautiful to see. It was a lot of emotional moments as well, meeting up with longtime fans, that has been on our Patreon for years, ever since we started our Patreon on a very high tier. And they've been doing that even without even knowing when they get to see us live for the very first time, And now we got to meet a bunch of them, and yeah, it was beautiful. So we really want to come back and just grow even more in North America. We really loved it.
Exactly. So we knew that we had a fan base, but that strong and that big, I mean,
it was
really
better.
It was really, really nice to see.
Yeah.
And I know the music scene over in Sweden is pretty heavy, just like it is here. I mean, I've talked to quite a few bands from Sweden, a few from Germany, and it's for me, it's just, I think, what's the word I'm looking for? It's incredible because I'm getting to experience new music that I probably would have never heard, through these publicists. And also, I'm getting to learn about different cultures of music.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of things that, bands from Europe do differently than what bands in the United States do. You guys are classified as like a symphonic dark metal, and we have dark metal, but nobody really gets symphonic with it over here.
Yeah.
I mean,
very interesting.
And it's really cool to hear that. And that's why I love doing this, is just to experience new stuff. Because I mean, you got your typical bands that the ones that play on the radio, whatever, that they don't really have a station that gets everybody out there. And someday I'm hoping to like create something like that. To where like all the bands that I've talked to can be heard here, wherever. And there was actually a band that I talked to a while back called Above Snakes, and they ended up on our local radio station, and they have this thing called Battle of the Bands, or not Battle of the Bands, but Choose It or Lose It, where they'll put the reigning champion up against somebody else. And I mean, these guys beat out Disturbed and all kinds of bands. And they was like, for I want to say 4.5 weeks, they was the champs. So that's really cool to hear,
Yeah,
that's
that's
very
very
cool.
Yeah.
So how it is, man. I mean, you got the big labeled bands and stuff, and everybody knows who they are. It's the smaller, bands, of the up and coming bands that I'm more interested in. You guys are, like you said, you're putting in 110%. You're making sacrifices and everything else to make this work for you guys, and it should not go unknown.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Really appreciate to hear that.
Yeah, and
that can be enough fuel for the next week or upcoming weeks. I'm gonna be honest. Thank you.
Oh yeah, definitely. I feel that any band, regardless of size, creating music for music that makes people feel and reflect maybe or gain some strength, that is what is important to me. And I just thought of this, like when we spoke of bands that are smaller and lesser known. Tracking back a little bit, you said that many European bands are looking to get over to the US, but really don't ever get there. It is an investment, my friend.
Yeah.
Any band, if any band in Europe or whatever is listening to this, if you believe in yourself, if you believe in your band and what you do, it takes the investment to get over here. No one will take you on the boat or take you on the flight and get over there. You got to invest in that, buddy. You got to do it.
And that is often a make or break for many bands because some have their regular jobs, besides the band, right? And like we've been doing this full time for a long time, and we know the investments that are necessary, but not everyone are actually ready to do these because they like to have their regular life, so to speak, and they want to have a band that should become big, right? But it takes way more. It's like people are sometimes romanticizing the actual thing, it takes a lot. It's like you build a company, and it's not for everyone, and that is totally fine, but it can be pretty a little bit provocative sometimes when you see and hear some things, when you know how much you yourself invest, both in time and money. When people kind of just expect their band to blow up out of nowhere, it's like, are you really that ignorant? Come on. It's like, no, you can never build a company that way, right? If you have $1 million idea, yes, but you need to do the investments, and that applies to everything. That is the thing, right? Also, at the same time, if you have enough money, you can actually create something big out of pure shit. That is also a problem, of course, right? I'm sorry if we're mentioning stuff like that.
Grinds my gears.
You're fine.
That grinds my gears. Really.
But it's like a balance thing, right?
Sure.
As we said, we agreed upon this from the very start. That if we're gonna do this, we don't want to sit there when we're very old and about to die and have regrets for not doing this.
Right.
I am so grateful that we took this chance and that we have been sticking to it as well.
And also from the very, very, very start in 2014, Madeleine and I said, we don't have any room for an ego in Eleine. We should create what feels right to us. We should create what is best for the band.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Dude, I absolutely love that. I do, because ego is one thing that's the biggest band killer on the planet.
Yeah,
definitely.
It is. Don't go into a band because you want to fulfill your ego. It is dead from the very start. Maybe you will succeed, but I promise you, you will have a lot of troubles along the way. That is the thing, and I don't think you will be genuinely happy because your mindset and focus is actually wrong.
Oh yeah.
I am pretty certain it will create you an even more empty feeling in the end.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're dead inside, bro.
So,
our next album.
I know festivals are big in Europe. Did you guys played a lot of festivals prior to your North American tour?
We played a few.
Yeah, a few. I'm sorry. We have the window open. There we go. Actually, not real, because the thing is that we started to build a band, right? We started in 2014, and first we had a record label. We cut with them and we released our own music, and then we found another record label. So we started to build this up, right? And when we were ready to go on like the first headline tour and stuff like that, COVID hit and the pandemic happened. And we got stuck for 2 years, right? And it's pretty frustrating. So it was right in the building up part, when it was about to like, okay, now it's happening. And then this happened,
right?
Which kind of delayed us. But now finally it starts to happen. So we have some really good festivals to look forward to this year. Hopefully a bunch next year.
And last year we played Sweden Rock Festival.
We did. And we had some good ones in Finland as well. So it finally it starts to happen, right? And now we're very excited. It's festivals are a big thing in Europe.
Oh yeah.
We realized during the North American tour that it's not that very common in North America in general, right? With festivals,
right? There, it's becoming a thing. I think there's big ones. I'd say 10, 12. We have 2 of them here in Ohio. Incarceration, which is a tattoo and music festival. They do it at the old Mansfield Reformatory, so it's got a cool theme to it. And then there's one of Danny Wimmer's. It's called it used to be called Rock on the Range. Now it's called Sonic Temple. But
all right, I think I've heard about that one, and we know about Prog Power, but I think that is Atlanta. I think
so. Yes.
Yeah, so it's good that it's coming up.
It's becoming a thing, though, and I mean, I've been to a few of them, and they're a blast. I mean, it's 3-4 days of just rock and roll, and I mean, by the end of it, man, you are wore out.
Yeah, but we're very happy to see that. Like Sweden Rock just happened now in early June, and we know that there's so many from abroad visiting. It's like I think this time was 50 or 60,000 people in total.
Oh, wow.
I know that there's so many from the States, alone, and entire Europe, and I think it's beautiful because it is a certain vibe. It is.
Yeah.
And the metal community is a beautiful community. You feel safe, I love that. Yeah.
Yeah. So who shot your videos?
Which one?
Well, I mean,
general.
In
right?
general, all right.
in general, yeah, like Ava of Death or Enemies. I mean, those. And by the way, love the outfits. I mean, that really fits with the music and that's really cool. But I mean, who does your videos? Do you guys do them, or just do you have somebody?
We don't. Yeah. Like let's take Ava of Death for instance. Every shot where I'm not present, I filmed, and every shot that I'm present, Madeleine filmed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
we've been doing it ourselves from the very start, and we can say this album cycle, finally from this album cycle, we have found someone that is being able to help us out filming, because there's so many shots that we've been wanting to have where, we want to be in the same picture.
Right.
But also the relief of having someone setting up the gear, with lights and everything, because we know how to do it, but also it takes so much from us to do that, get our makeup on, look fresh and happy, and film it at the same time. It has been so heavy on us,
And
but
also
it has been worth it.
directing and producing.
Yeah, we direct and we
So
produce.
I mean, I'm just
yes.
filling in because it's easy to get frustrated,
Yeah.
and it really strains the day. So it is very great that we have someone now that helps us out filming and then rigging up. Madeleine and I still direct, produce. I edited afterwards, but that part is actually a huge relief.
It is. I'm very grateful for it. So we have a good team now that still includes ourselves, and we like that, because it's not about any kind of control thing. It is only because we have created the songs and we know what we want to deliver, because music videos, artwork, photos, everything visually for us is an extension of the songs and what we are doing in general, even live shows, and for us everything is connected. So we know what we want to do in the videos in general, and we actually been choosing to keep them pretty simple. Like, we like to have this perform kind of thing, because we like to speak to the audience through the camera, right? Maybe sometime in the future where we have a bigger budget, we can do cool storylines and stuff like that, but so far we like to perform the songs in our videos.
Metal mayhem.
The raw feeling. I like that. I like that people can see us like in raw form, adding some cool stuff here and there depending on what video it is. But that is because we usually say that even if you like what you hear on the album, we really wanted to experience Eleine live, because in my honest opinion, I think that is where the magic can happen, because we feel it, and we have heard from fans that they feel it. It is something with the energy. It's pretty cool, actually.
Oh yeah.
It's
speaking of energy,
yeah,
like we like to take the energy that is in the video and bring it to live also.
Yeah.
So if you look at for example, We Are Legion, where we do the windmills and stuff like that, get up at the same time and stuff like that, we do that live also, and that is hard to do, to play stuff correctly when you're like looping your head. It is hard. Like, it should sound like crap, but with practice you sound less crap, and it's going to be powerful, it's going to be epic, and the audience really loves that. We love that. They give us energy, we give them energy, and together we are Legion. You know what I mean? It's so powerful, man.
I think the biggest difference from our music videos is that usually I'm more standing still in the videos, still expressing myself, but it's more like, okay, this is where I'm going to stand, right?
Oh yeah.
But live, I'm all over the place.
Oh yeah, we move around a lot. Oh god.
But it's it is a little glimpse of what you can expect live.
Yeah.
That is our music videos.
Yeah.
And that's I mean, that's what it's all about. I mean, as when your live performance really shows off your band, and you're feeding off of the energy of the crowd's feeding off of your energy, and I mean that makes for an epic show every time.
Yeah, right. It's it doesn't matter how small or big the stage is. If you have that, you can still have a magical show each and every time. Like, holy shit, the North American tour we were on now, we were so sweaty every night. It was so intense.
Mm.
It was this vibe in the air every night. Didn't matter where we were at, I loved it.
Yeah.
I really did.
Like the goal is always to have someone at least to go home and be like, whoa, that was
right?
really, really cool.
And for us as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. And like people getting empowered and inspired, just feeling a part of something, part of the Legion, which is actually what our fans did start to call themselves.
Yeah.
We are Legion. They are the Eleine Legion. And that is why we created We Are Legion, because we wanted to give them a song.
Yeah.
So it's very
like a very powerful, empowering unity song. And yeah, I'm very happy about it.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I really love how you guys mix it up with your vocal, her vocals and your vocals, and you both have great voices. I mean, Madeleine, your voice is really, I mean, on Enemies is what really caught my attention on that song when you first started singing, and I was like, wow, I mean, and it's a common thing with the bands over there that are the symphonic death metal. It's almost like a classical training. Do you have any classical training?
And not at all. I don't do operatic at all, actually. I do full belting and mix that with more softer things. So I have training from a very, very good vocal coach since I was pretty young, where we focused on bringing out my natural voice, not try to copy anyone.
Right.
And I'm very grateful for her. Her name is Mariah. And I'm very happy that I did, because just as we talked about, with building a company or a band where your focus should be at, not your ego, but it should be on the best for the brand or the band itself. She did the same with me. Like she said that I don't care how high notes you can take. If I don't feel anything, you can just get off the stage. And it sounds pretty harsh, but I loved it.
Right.
And that is why we put our focus on feeling something. And I'm not at all interested in the operatic vocals. It's not my thing at all. People have been expecting it, but it's not for me. I like more the belting parts where you actually like a more raw feeling.
Right.
I like to talk about natural instincts in us as human beings, because I think that is getting kind of forgotten in this very modern world where people just, it's more mental health problems along with people being more comfortable. So that is what I have been doing, at least. And Rikard, he is self-taught when it comes to everything from growling and the clean vocals that you can hear on the new album as well.
Yes, I mean, it's like I said, it's a good mix. I thought just listening to the few songs that I listened to, and I'm gonna have to check out We Are Legion, because now you guys got me all pumped up for that one.
You should. And I think if you liked Enemies, you should check out Never Forget.
Oh,
okay.
It's like Enemies and steroids, so go ahead.
Definitely.
So, like you said, you had a vocal coach as a young lady. So what really got you into music?
It is my dad, because I grew up having a musician as a dad. He was working full time and he always was out with his band every weekend, and I heard him rehearse, so I've been hearing that ever since I was born, I guess, because Mom, she has been telling me that, she always reminds me about it, that when I was 2, I went up to her and I said, Mom, I'm going to be a singer. And I have always been so determined about it. Even in school, they were like, okay, even if you want to be a singer, maybe you should consider to have a real job as well. That made, I was 14 when I heard that the first time, and I basically said, well, you can screw yourself. I'm going to do this, So I've been just feeling more and more, they can't just give me more fuel, to actually do this. I have been working with music since I was 15 and 16. Every summer I was singing on weddings and stuff like that, actually making good amount of money. That was even before I was allowed to have a registered company. So they gave me the fuel, and I'm very grateful that I grew up in a home where I was supported when it comes to music, since my dad, he was very happy that he noticed that, oh, she likes music just as I do,
Right.
So that I'm very grateful for. Yeah.
How about you, Rickard? What got you into music?
Oh man, probably my humongous energy of having undiagnosed ADHD. I don't know, man. It's like I've always had been prone to entertaining, and also I've been always very artistic and learning myself instruments, learning songs and whatnot. So I mean, it was a very natural progression for me to get into because it made me feel good,
Yes.
gave me
Mhm.
that special feeling that I feel okay, this is good. And then during parts of my life, I went away from that to work and whatnot. Hands down, the most miserable years of my life. And then going back to music, just there it is, that feeling again. So yeah, went full on musician since 2014 with Madeleine.
So
But Emma, yeah,
the
sorry.
it was more like therapy for you.
I have no idea.
Stimulating, I
Yeah,
think.
stimulating.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because it's very rewarding as, when you are a creative person, I guess we can call it that, it's very stimulating. And that is why if you have another work where you're not stimulated, creatively, it's like
Hmm.
you can still like the work, but you are so bored and feel so miserable. You
Yeah.
feel like you're wasting your life. But
Hmm.
I mean, it's still a good job and you can earn good amounts of money, of course, but it's no, it feels like,
Hollow.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
very, very,
Well, yeah,
it's horrible.
it's also a great form to speak.
Yeah.
It's form to express yourself. And
It is.
Exactly.
It's very rewarding in many ways.
mm,
But I was thinking about, I think you did get a spark, right? When you discovered Nirvana in your early teens, right? It felt like that maybe
um,
gave you a lot.
yeah, I did play a little bit of piano before that, but
Yeah, right?
yeah, I would also say that sure, the grunge, really the rawness of the grunge, because in essence, grunge is an extension of a form of punk.
Hmm.
So it's like really it's raw, it's aggressive, and yeah, that is one of the first times I really felt that, like some wow,
Yeah.
really that raw power. And then of course metal and whatnot. But I love video games, and early video games there was a lot of metal in those, like Mega
Yeah.
Man, Castlevania, Doom, the 80s, late 80s, early 90s anime, cartoons. That was a lot of metal in that era, man.
Oh yeah.
And I was just fed that on like a daily basis,
I think they gave
So
you a lot.
yeah, it,
Yeah.
it like felt right. That I felt at home, and it was really nice. And like music overall, like even Mario music, if we're talking about video games, as long as it makes you feel something, it's regardless of the freaking genre. It can be pop, jazz, classical, blip blop Mario. It As long as it makes you feel, that is it. All right, that is it. And that I found out that I can express myself like that, and that spoke to me.
Mm.
And I agree. I like it when you can get a genuine feeling from music.
Yeah.
Especially there's songs that I hear that give me goosebumps, and I'm like,
Mm.
that is just one of the coolest feelings ever. I'll just kind of look at Mara, I'm like, wow,
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's somebody's creation doing that to me, and I feel like that would be the ultimate high for you guys. When you can put out something like that touches somebody so much that it gives them goosebumps, or might even then make them smile or bring a tear to their eye or whatever. I mean, you're definitely doing your job there.
Agreed, fully agreed, 100%. um a lot of our music is about empowerment, mental health, struggles, inspiration, and also like speaking of the low points without having like the you can do it part, but still a progression of like you're not alone. That is the message within those songs. Like you're not alone. This is real. What you feel is real, and that
Right.
is actually very empowering in itself.
Oh yeah.
We've had several people, like this would be so freaking corny if it wasn't true, but it is. So I will say it. several people, last of which was in
Atlanta. Yeah, I remember it. Yeah.
It was like we had free meet and greets after the shows.
Right.
Had a huge line, people coming up, taking pictures, we're signing stuff. Pop, 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 pop. Then comes this man. He walks up to us, like looking like a cool metal dude, like kind of a little bit skinny, beard and cap. Like, all right, I'm not going to take up too much of your time, but I have to say that your last album, Dancing in Hell, it really, and then he started to crack up in his voice. It really, you saved my life. You saved my freaking life. And we were like, we took him in, of course, like, and thank you, that means a lot. And he spoke of it as like, he was so deep in a depression. And within our songs, our music, he found the strength to carry on. He found that empowerment that I'm speaking of. And that is why we want to do this. This is what it's all about. To be able to spread a good message on a platform, and also like fulfilling ourselves with the void that we would feel if we didn't do music, right?
I admire your passion, and definitely admire the fact that you remember the specific person telling you this. I mean, because a lot of bands that they go from town to town, they seen a million faces, and can't remember half of the people that they met. But it's really cool that you remember that story, and I could see how that would feel to you for somebody to say, hey, you saved my freaking life, and I mean, and it was just done through your talents, through your music. It's not like you ran into a burning building to save them or whatever. You was able to speak to their heart, their soul, their mind, and bring them out of this funk, and that is just amazing.
It's immensely powerful.
It is very powerful. And it's hard to grasp.
Yeah.
But I want, like, if anyone is listening to this and thinking that, that happened to me. Yeah, well, we are really providing the tools in that way, if we can call it that, right? We make a song out of our own life experience through depression and being undiagnosed and not understood and whatnot. We're just doing that. And then we put out the music because we believe that it might be appreciated by someone, but for us, it's very stimulating.
Right.
But if someone hears it and they feel a little spark of hope, well, if you get out of it because of it, you actually did that. I don't want people to forget that you actually managed to get out of it. That is the thing. We were just part of it, and we're very happy to be a part of it. We are.
Awesome, guys. Well, we are about out of time. I had a great time talking with you. I wish to God I could have made that Pittsburgh show. But hey, I'll look forward to seeing you if you come back, and I'll make it happen. I don't care, or I got
what happens.
Definitely would love to see you guys play, and maybe do a live interview, and
yeah, for sure.
Those are some more fun. I mean, because usually I like to do them post show, that way you guys are still kind of revved up, like, oh my god, show, I'm revved up, and it works out nice. So
awesome.
We have to do that. So we're working on getting back to North America as soon as possible. So fingers crossed, and yes, we would love to see you there. Of course.
Awesome. All right. Well, you guys enjoy your evening, and thank you again so much for joining me.
Thank you so very much for having us. Please take care, and bye to everyone.
Bye.
Bye.